you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O's, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick Podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
all in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O's, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick Podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. The Eye Test with Pierre, McGuire, and Jimmy Murphy.
The Stanley Cup winning Colorado Avalanche. And after 22 years, Raymond
The sickest NHL podcast. It's gonna be sick.
And welcome to another edition of the Eye Test here on the Sick Podcast Network. He is Pierre McGuire. I am Jimmy Murphy. Pierre, how was your weekend?
Is the show started yet?
It has. We are starting right now, my friend.
I'm sorry. I'm just evaluating some of the things that you sent me on stats. So I just want to really.
I know.
Can I ask our viewers out there?
Yes.
Would you trade Luke Hughes 1-for-1 for Lane Hutson? I'm not making the statement. I'm asking the question.
Yes.
So I'm just doing and Jimmy knows how I do comparables.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just doing my own comparable.
And
If I were Montreal, I wouldn't do that.
no, I would not either. How about Lane Hutson for Jake Sanderson?
I would have to seriously think about that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, this derives, I should tell our viewers, we're just having a conversation of how a lot of people out there are under the belief, we don't agree with this, but there is a common belief out there right now, Pierre, that Hudson and Hughes contracts are waiting on one another, and one's waiting for one to set the bar. In my opinion, Hudson has already set the bar with his play on the ice. And I think it's kind of a moot point. And I think that I don't know how you would know better than me how teams and agents go through this and how they do it. But if you're sitting around waiting for the other guy to sign, Pierre, that doesn't seem like a good way to do business. I don't know why people would think,
how can that even be a logistical way to do business?
right?
One guy's playing in the league. He's got a contract.
Mm-hmm.
He's not missing any pay periods.
Exactly.
Well, I want to ask you a simple question.
Yes.
Whatever happened to all those offer sheets for Mason McTavish?
Oh,
The ones that we said would never come.
yep.
What happened to those?
You're sitting somewhere caught in a fax machine, I guess.
Do all the people that wrote all those speculative, I know more than everybody else stories, have they apologized yet?
I have not seen anything yet, Pierre. I have not. But congratulations.
How about just saying I got it wrong?
I don't think that happens in today's society.
It does on this show.
It does on this show. You're right, because I'm wrong a lot, so I have to say it a lot. But
No, I say it too. But I talked to an NHL GM called me today. Okay.
Yeah.
And he was listening to the show the other day. And he was like, yeah, you nailed that one on Mason McTavish. I'm like, well, we as a group, we study it pretty hard. And then he said, what's your take on Luke Hughes? I said, these guys aren't going to miss pay periods. As we said last week on the show, those contracts are getting done. So I don't know why or how all this stuff starts, but I'm trying to help people with heartache. I don't want Devils fans panicking, oh, we're not going to get Luke Hughes back. You're getting Luke Hughes back. I don't know what the number's going to be.
Right.
But it'll be digestible. I don't know if it's more about money or term. I don't know. I don't know. What they did with McTavish's contract, and I think some people have talked about this, is they bought up some free agency time. Anaheim did. Mm-hmm. So that's why maybe the money's a bit steep, because they did buy up some years of free agency. So it may only be one, actually, but they did buy up some free agency time.
It is.
So I understand that part of the negotiation. That's fair. It's fair for both sides. I don't think that's a bad contract for Anaheim, and I don't think it's a bad contract for Mason.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. So that's positive news for them. Luke Hughes is going to get done. So here's how you do it. If you're a fan, you take Noah Dobson's contract, then you take Jake Sanderson's contract, and you look at those and you say, okay, 2 years ago, Luke Hughes was minus 25, but he had 47 points. Last year, he had 44 points, but he was minus 9. 2 years ago, he played on a playoff team. Last year, he played on a non-playoff team, but his point totals were down, but his plus minus was better. Markstrom was probably part of that.
Right.
Markstrom was probably part of that. So you look at, there's ways to do the comparable.
Mm-hmm.
Like you asked me about Cam Fowler's contract today. I thought that was a great question, by the way. We were talking earlier today. And I said it's a great contract for the team, and it's an amazing contract for him.
Right.
Yeah, he's happy, he's stable, and he's in a place he wants to be. He really wants to play for Jimmy Montgomery. He wants to be in St. Louis, and it's an up-and-coming team. I don't blame him.
Yep.
It's great. It's good for him.
I like it a lot. I want to ask, staying on the term of contracts, Pierre. I was having a conversation with somebody today, and we've kind of touched on this a bit. I think we touched on a lot last year when the whole Jeremy Swayman thing was going on. But right now, as we speak, do you think, I don't know how to put this, a delicate subject or a delicate question to ask. Do you think there is pressure from the PA on players that are in contract negotiations right now, given the rapid rise in salary that we're in the middle of right now?
Yeah, there should, and there is for sure.
And I'm not saying it's not a bad thing. They're doing their job.
They're not doing anything wrong. They're doing their job.
Right.
And the agents are doing their job. No problem with that. No,
right.
Zero. None. Look, their constituents aren't the NHL owners or Gary Bettman or Bill Daly. Their constituents are their players and the PA and other players in the league. Mm-hmm. So I have no problem with that. I've said this stat before, and we were the only people that had it. There's 16 out of 32 teams, 4 million. I didn't say 3.96. $4 million or more dollars below the cap. There's half the league is 4 million or more under the cap. What have we been trying to tell everybody? Nobody wants to listen. Owners are going to pay attention to their own internal cap.
Right.
Their own internal cap.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care what the cap says. They're going to pay attention to what they can do, what makes business sense. Yeah. When I tell you that there's a team in the league that's budgeted and they're a cap team, they have to win 2 rounds of the playoffs to be financially viable without having a cash call. Nobody wants to hear that, but it's true.
It's reality.
It's the reality of the business. It's not like everybody thinks. It's a lot hard. What people don't factor in are travel costs, scouting premiums, insurance costs, equipment costs. Start going over all rental of the building costs. Not everybody's Montreal, not everybody's Boston, not everybody's Chicago, not everybody's Detroit where they own their own building, not everybody's New York Rangers. There are a lot of them that pay substantial rents to these buildings.
Right.
So I'm just telling you, the business is strong because it is strong. There's no way the cap couldn't go up if it wasn't strong. But I know a lot of these owners are having their own internal caps. And it's just just because your owner doesn't spend to the cap doesn't mean that he's not trying to win. I guess it's a long way I'm trying to get to it. Because I see, well, if our owner doesn't spend at the cap, he's not trying to win. That's not true at all. It's not true.
And on that note, circling back to where you were saying, Devils fans relax out there, other fans who are a player that's in a contract. That's why I'm bringing all this up here, is keep this in mind. When you're starting to look at a situation and it's dragging out and it's coming down to the wire, just remember it's not necessarily just black and white. There's so many different factors that come in right now, and you got to keep that in mind when you're evaluating it. And I know that's why we're trying to help right now, to help fans understand that. But there's so many different factors. It's not just agent and GM working out a deal. There's other outside factors that are
I'll give you another one that we talked about on this show. And this general manager that called me said it was really cool, actually. He called about an hour and a half ago. He said, "Hey, I heard you and Jimmy the other day, and you were talking about how it's not about the coaches and the players this year to win the cup. It's about what GMs." And I said, pro scouts. He says, "So glad you brought the pro scouting part of it up. Never felt more pressure to have to make a good move."
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I've never seen in this many years, almost 4 decades in the league. I've never seen so many flawed teams at the top of the food chain.
Yeah.
And so in order to win and maybe solidify. So last year, when Florida got Seth Jones and Brad Marchand, what did we say? We said Florida's got probably the best opportunity to win the cup.
Yep.
And they were coming off. They're the defending champs. They got an elite coaching staff that never changed. They didn't lose any of their coaches to the coaching hiring process. They all were back. They had the same goalie. They lost one goalie. Obviously, they lost Stolars to Toronto. They lost Montador. They lost Oliver Ekman-Larsson. But they had internal development too. People forget Nico Mikkola was a really good internal development guy. Seth Jones was a really good, acquisition. And when I think about it, like Nate Schmidt was a heck of a pickup.
Oh, yeah.
So, you look at it there, they got it. Like their pro scouts made a difference. But they had this year, I'm just telling you, nobody's winning the cup unless they make a move.
Yep. Great segue. And we don't script this, but this was a topic I wanted to bring up with you, Pierre. And of course, we'll get into our Betway promo later, but we will drop their name right now. You can go over to Betway right now. And what you will notice if you're over there, say, 5 days ago before Barkov went down, is that the odds on the Florida Panthers, whether it's to win the cup, whether it's to win the Eastern Conference, whether it's to win a division, miss the playoffs, make the playoffs, have all changed drastically. I'll give you an example right now, Pierre, and I want to get this back to the ice in a second, but
yeah,
the Stanley Cup, before Barkov's injury, the Panthers were 6-1 to win the cup. They are now 11-1. Before Barkov got hurt, they were plus 310 to win the East. They are now plus 550. Before he got hurt, they were plus 165 to win the division. They are now plus 320. So, look, Vegas has got their own way of doing things, but I'm going to say this from a hockey point of view, and based on everything you were just saying about the moves that scouting department's been able to do, the development that they have there, I think that's an overreaction, in my opinion. I think it's going to hurt them. I think that, yes, they've got to be tired a bit. All these trips to the finals and playing deep into the summer is catching up. But at the same time, if there is a staff that can get through this and find a way, it's that Florida Panthers staff.
It's a great statement, and it's very fair. The one thing, too, is Luostarinen, even though he plays left wing with Lundell and Marchand, he's a natural centerman.
Yep.
Now, do I think he's jumping ahead of Lundell? No. If anything, I think Bennett would jump, and then Lundell would jump, and then Luostarinen would come in from the left side, and they would play and plug on the left side. Verhaeghe's still there. Boquist is still there. AJ Greer's still there. Getting Luke Cunnin is Luke Cunning's a perfect fourth line center for the way they play. He's heavy. He's got a good stick. He sacrifices points to play defense. It's a good pickup for them. So those numbers are a little bit sketchy, but I do think the numbers had to change.
Oh,
the numbers had to change.
Yeah. But
who benefited, Jimmy? Did Toronto benefit Montreal? Was there one team that became more of a favorite?
It was Toronto.
Yep. So you that I've been very bullish on Toronto, and I know the pundits are ripping apart and saying wrong. I think you and I both were pretty right last year. If it's not for the Bennett collision with Stolars, I don't think Toronto wins game 3. And if they don't win game 3, they're down 3-0. I don't think they win the series, and I think Toronto wins the cup.
Yep. And another thing, too, Tampa's right there neck and neck with Toronto now for the division.
So the question in Tampa has to be, it's really an important one, how injured is Vasilevsky?
I know.
Jimmy, it's got to be.
It's a very quiet story. Nobody's talking. I said that's kind of a quiet story.
I know it's a weird one. It's got to be. I know they're probably keeping it under wraps. I get it. It's football season too. It's easy to do right now because you can kind of get through it. But that's got to be one that's got to, if you're Julian Breezeball, you got to be wondering a little bit, like, when's this guy coming back?
Yeah.
There's no cup without him. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. No, not at all. And I would think, when I was looking at Tampa Bay coming into this season, even heading into the preseason, Pierre, obviously I'm not thinking about that because I didn't know what was going to happen with Vasilevsky, but I'm looking at their defense and I'm like, that's really, when I look at their team, that right side is the only thing that really worries me about Tampa. Other than that, I think they're a pretty complete team.
They are.
When healthy.
Yeah, they are. They're good. I agree. Cirelli is so underrated. He's just so, I get it because Cooper coached Team Canada. So he said, I got to have this guy to check for me. But he's an important player there. Point obviously, everybody knows Kucherov's superstar. He's not a star. He's a superstar. He's an amazing player. So they got everything. They got firepower. They got size. They got toughness. They got good defense. When they got a goalie, they're really good.
Yeah.
The problem is their nemesis is across the state. The last 2 years they lose to those guys in the first round.
Yeah. So that will be interesting there. Couple other things. One thing, I want to kind of link sports here, Pierre, because I know you probably have some interesting stories. So one of the biggest, if not the biggest topics coming out of the Ryder Cup was the fan actions and the harassment of some of the European players.
I watched it all.
Horrible. It was horrible. I want to ask you, in your time as coaching, as a coach or a manager, has any of your teams ever received something that really stood out to you, that really crossed the line? I mean, you get stuff all the time. I know what you're used to it, but something that crosses the line, like we saw where a guy throwing a beer at a player's wife.
Somebody ripped Kevin Stevens' wife's earrings out of her ear.
What?
Yeah, after we won the Cup in '91 when we got to Pittsburgh. Yeah, they ripped their earrings right out of her ears.
Wow.
Wasn't in Minnesota, it was in Pittsburgh when we got off the plane. That's one I remember.
Any batteries thrown at you in New York? I remember that used to be a thing back in the day.
Philadelphia, when I was doing TV, I remember interviewing somebody. We had to go up against the glass because they gave out, those lights that they shot, and they started launching the lights at myself and the player I was interviewing. So I just pulled him aside to safety, and we went up against the glass. It was pretty hard to hit us. You weren't going to hit us. So we finished the interview there. We beat the Rangers in game 1. This is a good one. We beat the Rangers in game 1 of the '92 second round. Mm-hmm. And some moron came up behind the bench and said, "I'm going to shoot you and Bowman," like through the glass.
Oh, geez. Security
jumped on him. It was it wasn't anything major. Right. No story ever came out of it. I was like, really? Scotty's like, let's get out of here.
So you never have to hop the glass and go beat somebody with their shoe like Mr. Mike Miller.
No. I mean, the one guy that took a lot of abuse, and I had so much admiration for him because he was such a good guy, is Scotty Gomez. Especially when he'd go into, like when he was in Jersey, he'd go, that division was tough.
Yeah.
You go into Philly, you go into New York, you go into Washington, that division was hard. You go into Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
It was hard. And Gomez took a lot of flack.
Yeah.
He's a good kid, boy. I'm glad he's coaching now. He was an assistant coach in the BCHL, and then he was head coach, and now he's a head coach, I think, in Chicago in the USHL.
Yeah.
But I liked him so much. Gomez is a good kid, good player.
Yeah, I remember Larry Murphy used to take a lot of heat in Toronto back in the day, didn't he?
Yeah, but he would laugh.
Yeah, he did a great job of humoring it.
Murph would come to the bench, and I'd be like, "How's it going?" He'd start, "Yeah, I'm good." He'd be laughing. Murph would laugh.
Yeah, well, he got the last laugh.
I told you the stories. We go into Boston or we go into New York.
Oh, yeah.
It was unmerciful with Alfie, and he would come back to the bench smiling and happy. And I'd be like, Alfie, maybe we're going to sit. Yeah, he was mad at me once. I think I told you the story off the air. We were in a playoff game. I forget who it was against, but we were winning substantially, and Alfie was clearly targeted. So probably the last 6 minutes, I didn't give him any shifts. He was mad. And it was Scotty never interfered. He was really good that way. But he came up and he said, "Hey, just a thought. Maybe you give Alfie a little break the rest of the way." And I was like, good idea. I got you. So I didn't even say a word. I just said, "Alfie, take a seat." Kind of like that. Kind of joking around.
Yeah.
He was really mad.
Somebody over here, I think Randy Workman in the message room saying, "Remember Domi in the penalty box when the guy
in Philly, he did a number on him." I remember Ronnie Asseltine, the linesman. His nickname was the Bear because he was big and burly like a bear. And I remember in Boston once, I forget who the opponent was, but some idiot fan jumped over the glass, and Ronnie came in. It's on YouTube.
I was at the game.
Ronnie
Yeah.
smoked him.
Yeah, it was great. I remember so I think I told you my grandfather had poor Glenn Wesley. That became like his whipping boy when my grandfather would take me to the games back in the day. And we were at that game, and he says, they should replace him, put him in for Wesley. He can hit harder than him.
Glenn was a pretty good player. I know the Bruins fans. I know they want him to be more physical, but Glenn was a hell of a player, boy. I'll tell you what. But yeah, Ronnie let that fan have it, but good. Oh.
Yeah. I was just thinking of that, because I've been seeing all the stuff about the tournament, about the Ryder Cup, and
can I just say one thing about that?
Yeah.
Like,
go ahead.
Golf is different than hockey. It is different. There's no hitting in golf. I mean, it's not, you can intimidate guys with how far you hit the ball or how good you are around the green or how composed you are in pressure situations. But I'm just going to say it. Like, I was really disappointed. I thought Tom Watson said it best, where he said, you know what, I was embarrassed as somebody that's been a captain of a Ryder Cup team, that won the Ryder Cup as a player, a huge American, pro-American. I was embarrassed. And I can tell you that as somebody that really respects all those guys, whether you like them as people or not, as athletes, they're unbelievable athletes. You look at what Shane Lowry did on the 18th hole yesterday. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
Good idea.
And, to hear some of the stuff that was said and then to find out that, some clown threw a beer at McIlroy's wife.
Yeah.
He's lucky McIlroy wasn't there to see it.
Yeah. Well, there was another point. I saw a clip where they had to hold him back. He wanted to jump in and go after somebody.
Well,
do that.
I didn't know if that was towards somebody that was yelling at him or if that was somebody that did something.
No, it was about his wife. That's
was it? Yeah,
look,
okay.
Yell at me all you want, but once you cross that line on my wife or my family, then it's a whole different. And I'm totally with him on that.
Yeah. I was watching that Bryson DeChambeau yesterday when he was down 5, and all of a sudden he started coming back. I'm like, get out of that guy's way. He jacked up.
But I'm glad you said that because I saw this fan get interviewed, and he said, where you said hockey's different from golf, and he says, well, they take it in hockey, they take it in football. Why can't these guys? They're soft. That's why they can't. I said, dude, that's apples and oranges, man. Come on. Totally different mentality in sports.
No, that's too.
I
wish I was good enough to say. I wish I was good enough to say that I could play pro golf.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough. And most people aren't good enough to even say they're golfers because it's such a hard sport to play. But, I played at a very high level of football, and I got paid to play hockey and coached hockey for a long time getting paid. And they're not even similar.
No.
Not even close to being similar.
And just one final note in this too. I love the athletes too that can keep it inside, keep their decorum, keep calm, and just answer with their play. I think of PK Subban in 2014, Pierre, when the racist comments were being posted and everything. Yep. And then he just went in there and he did what he promised. I can't wait to go in there.
He brushed his teeth and gave me a kiss after the game.
That's right. He gave me that kiss.
Yeah, I remember.
Wait, he said, he should have brushed his teeth? Is that what he said?
He did. I said he did. I'm only joking.
What a classic.
Oh, I was so happy for him.
That's how you do it, right? You answer it with your play, and that's what Europe did. So good for them. Yep. Next one's in Ireland, right?
Yep. And you know what? McIlroy and Lowry have already started. They've already started by saying, you know what, we're not going to do that. Our fans aren't going to be like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that'd be good. I'm looking forward to I think it's at Adair Manor, if I remember correctly. You'd have to look it up, Jimmy, but I think it's at Adair Manor. So my first trip this year to Ireland's coming up in 20 days. I'm heading over. So I'll be doing a couple of the shows from over there, Jimmy.
Wait.
Yeah.
If we have to change the time and all, you let us know, Pierre.
No.
You are right. Adair Manor in the county of Limerick in Ireland, September 16th.
So I'm going over to do, as you know, a thing for the IHF at the end of October. And then I'm going back with you like 3 weeks later. So I'm looking forward to that. And then we're going back like another 4 weeks after that. So it's good.
You should just get a condo there, Pierre.
You know what? I would. I wish. You know what? But I know I'm not allowed to.
Yes, me neither. Me neither.
I would love to, but
Maddie's not going to allow that.
I know I'm not allowed to.
Yeah. Anyhow, before we move on to our sponsors and the Q&A, the final thing I had to ask you, Pierre, was, we're starting to see the waiver wire pack up and everything. And I was wondering, when teams are heading into preseason and as preseason starts to develop, we talk about pro scouting. How much what's the focus from pro scouting departments, and how do they project who might be on waivers? Are they able to do that? This player, maybe we might find them. Are they doing that right now? Do they have a list of guys they think might end up there?
Yes, the most plugged in and professional guys, definitely. They have
That's what I figured.
Roster projections, and they'll say requires waivers, doesn't require waivers, and they'll have a whole chart. Some of them have it on a blackboard with those magnetic things. Other guys just have it on spreadsheets. Everybody's got their own way of doing it. I have a different way. As I've showed you some of the things that I do, and I have a different way of doing things. Everybody does, but it doesn't mean one way is better than the other. But I would say most would know. The staffs are so much bigger now than when I was doing it, full time. So I would say, guys know.
Pickups.
All the player. I don't think anybody, as far as I know, is today.
Everyone's cleared. Well, not today. Everyone cleared from yesterday. I don't know about today.
Yeah. So it's 24 hours. So tomorrow there were a bunch of guys put on today, and you'll find out tomorrow. But a lot of as we've talked about before, some of these guys don't require waivers, and that's why they're valuable too.
Yep.
Because they can go back and forth. Jacob Fowler doesn't require waivers.
No.
Jakub Dobic doesn't require waivers.
No.
David Reinbacher doesn't require waivers. So they're guys that don't require. I like what they did with Rohrer Montreal. I'll use Montreal as an example. And I like the kid. He's a good player. Yeah. But they've sent him back to Switzerland. He's an Austrian.
That's what we expected on Melnick.
Yeah, I said it on Melnick show. I said he's not staying here. They're sending him back.
Just like the
They're
captain.
not going to burn the clock on him.
Yep.
Send him back.
Perfect.
It's smart.
One guy, I think we agree, but just for our listeners and viewers to keep an eye on, is Michael DiPietro, for sure, the goalie with the Bruins.
Okay, Captain Obvious.
May I get you a hotel room? All right, let's get to, maybe we got to get him for a sponsor. Hotels.com, if you're watching. Let's get that going. I'll be the hockey captain.
Oh.
All right, let's tell you about our new wonderful sponsor, Vago Italian in Montreal. I cannot wait to get up there. Just found out, Pierre, I will be up there for Bruins Canadians. November 15th is the game. It's a Saturday night, so I might have to pop into Vago that weekend to have a nice meal. You want to go there because Vago combines old world classics and new Italian dishes for over 23 years. Private dining rooms for any occasion, open Monday to Saturday evenings, and lunch from Tuesday to Friday. Located at 1336 Green Avenue in Westmount. That's a neighborhood of Montreal for those that aren't from there. For reservations, call 514-846-1414. Again, that's 514-846-1414. And, of course, our wonderful friends over at Betway, where you can still go all the way in Betway. And I hope you went all the way with the Notre Dame Irish this past weekend. I told you that you're not going to see that spread again.
You're flaunting the fact that Arkansas fired their coach right after the game.
I saw that. Whoa.
That's pretty mean of you.
I don't think that. Yeah. I mean,
I'm only joking.
Pierre, I'm telling you, though, for Notre Dame, the longer the season goes on, you're not going to be just giving 4 points. It's going to be double digits now. So I hope you took advantage of that. But you can go over there right now. Go see those odds that are changing for the Florida Panthers and other teams as a result of injuries around the league. And get in there right now on the futures. You must be 18 plus. Always bet responsibly. Terms and conditions apply. And this offer is not available in Ontario right now. Let's get to that Q&A. What do we got? All right, Simo Hockey Training. What's up, Simo? Pierre, what does Scott Lawton have to improve on down the stretch and in the playoffs for the Leafs? I feel like Noshik in the fourth line of the Panthers outclassed the whole bottom six last year.
They did. And by the way, Simo, your photo for your son and the letter's on its way to your home. So thank you for sending me your address. Lawton has been really good this preseason. So is Stevie Lorentz. And so is Easton Cowan. That's a line for Toronto. That's their fourth line right now.
Yep.
That would cause some problems if those guys play the way they have in preseason. So I think I was really disappointed in Scotty last spring. I think he was disappointed in himself. It must have been tough. First time he'd ever been traded, coming home, lots of pressure. Probably wasn't comfortable in the role at the beginning because he was playing as a first or second line player in Philly. Then he goes down to the fourth or third line. It's a different role. So he had a bad playoff. What are you going to do? But I think that with Nicky Roy and Scott Lawton, whether it's 3-4 or 4-3, depending on how the night goes, I think Toronto's depth at center now can almost rival Florida when Barkov is healthy. So Austin Matthews isn't going anywhere anytime soon, and Johnny Tavares is going to have a big year. I don't care what anybody says because he's motivated to try to be on the Olympic team.
Yeah, I think Brad Treliving. I know people like, well, you didn't replace Mitch Marner. Well, that's kind of a tall task there. I'm sorry, that's not going to just happen like that. But I think going to what Simon was saying, I think he entered this offseason with that being one of his priorities. Like, I gotta fix this bottom six. I gotta be able to match up with the depth that these contenders have. And I think he did a pretty good job.
I do too. I think he did a great. Plus, look at what he did with Stolarz. The Stolarz contract, the extension is unbelievable.
That was a steal for Stolarz.
Yeah, but it's good for both of them. It's good for him. He's never been more, I think, content and feels safe about himself. And I know the Leaf players were really happy about it. I can tell you that. So it's great.
All right. Next question. What do we got? Franco, how does the condensed Olympic schedule this season affect rookies and young players? Do you see more teams implementing the Verbeek load management special like he did with Leo Carlson?
Frank, great points all around. But Patty was creative on that, but let's get where we need to go. That was a combination between Patty Verbeek and Matt Cater, the agent. That wasn't just Verbeek putting that in there. That was a combination of things. So that's number one. And I think Greg Cronin played a role in that too. So there's a lot that goes into that. In terms of what it does, a condensed schedule, I don't know how many rookies are actually going to make it past the 10th game this year. It's going to be hard for young guys under 20 to really make it this year. It's going to be really hard.
All right, next question. Juice _031017. Pierre, what former NHL player does Noah Dobson remind you of the most?
It's a really good question. It's a good question. I mean, he's a righty. He can get pucks on goal. He needs to be more stout defensively. So, I mean, it's hard to say right now if there's one in particular. But the way I look at it with him is he's going to have to – I saw a little clip today where they were working on one-on-one defense in the neutral zone. So I think they're trying to make their point to him is that you're going to have to be a little more robust.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how.
Ron Heffernan suggesting Matthew Schneider.
Oh no. Matthew is way more beastly. Matthew was beastly. Matthew wasn't shy. You know, it's funny. I saw Matthew play when he was in Rhode Island. Then I saw Matthew play.
It was Mount St. Charles, right?
Yeah, and junior hockey. And I was like, "Oh, this guy's good." Because he's mean. He's a mean kid. And so many people, you talk about saying nasty stuff to guys. I heard a lot of nasty stuff said to him. I'll tell you what, I had a lot of respect for Matthew. Matthew is good. And he quietly did some really good stuff for the NHLPA.
Yep.
Huge stuff for the PA.
Yeah.
Matthew's a good egg.
Another one says, what about Dennis Weidman as a comparable?
Yeah, Dennis was a little more stout too, though.
Yeah.
That's why they're all fair, but we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
I want to give Dobson the benefit of the doubt. He's just got to, I know it's preseason, so it's early to judge him, but I saw this movie on Long Island, so he just, hopefully as he gets into a more intense environment, he will bring that intensity defensively. Yeah. It's not about offense with him. Everybody knows what he can do offensively.
I think Stefan Robitaille can help him a lot, so we'll see. Yeah. All right, next question. Renaissance Resistor, for those of us in fantasy drafts, who are some under-the-radar point producers that look poised for a big breakout this year?
How's Matthew Nyes? Does that count?
I think he's still under the radar.
Yeah, I think Matthew Nyes is one that could have a big
couple guys in Utah. Oh, how about this one? Staying with Toronto, Pierre. Michelli.
Yeah, he could go 65 to 80 points.
Yeah.
If
And I
he
bet
stays
he's not
healthy.
going to be in the first 3 rounds of people's drafts.
No, he could.
Yeah.
Well, does Demidoff count or no?
He'll get scooped up just because of the hoopla.
Demidoff will get scooped up.
Let's look at some guys on Utah.
I'll tell you one that I think could, because you're going to play a top 6 role with all the injuries. Mackie Samoskevich.
Ooh, great call.
Florida. Samoskevich could be a guy that goes. Look at Kent Johnston in Columbus is another one. I've been watching him play the last little while.
Yeah.
And I don't know
Columbus and Utah.
if I'll keep him with Fantilli or not, but Fantilli's going to have another huge year. He's over 30 last year. He'll go over 30 this year unless he gets hurt. Yeah. So there's another one. I mean, there's a kid in Minnesota right now that's ripping it up. I don't know if he'll stay. Hunter Haight, Haight.
Okay.
He's had a really good camp. He scored against Chicago yesterday. There's another one to look at because if he stays, he's got to stay in the top. He's not a checker. He's got to stay as a top 6. And I think he's another one that could surprise as a first-year NHL player.
Yeah,
he could surprise.
I'd look at the Utah roster too. Like some of these teams that are knocking on the door, you might be able to find some.
Utah would be a good one to look at. Yeah. They sent a whack of guys down yesterday.
Yep.
So yeah, Utah would be a good one to look at.
All right, next question. Big Bill, Pierre and Jimmy, with Waugh being sent down to Laval, how do you see his development in the future with the Habs? Is he possible trade bait?
I think it's tough for him to be part of the future of the Habs.
Yeah.
I feel so like you don't feel bad because he's still playing. He's still making it substantial. Yeah. But I know the work that kid put in this summer, and he's got to be heartbroken.
Yeah.
Because when you swing the bat as hard as you can and you only get a single and you don't get a home run, you're like, damn, what else do I have to do? Yeah. And so I really do. I feel kind of terrible for those kids. I know what like one of my players that I trained for a lot of summers broke his wrist the other night in Montreal and has surgery on his wrist at Marshall Rafai. Yeah. I've sent him a text and I feel terrible because he doesn't want anybody to feel sympathy, but you still feel bad for the kid.
You know what they go through.
Trust me, people, they read about all the sexy stuff that these guys do, but they don't see the 5 o'clock wake up. They don't see the guy yelling at them at 6 o'clock in the morning. They don't. It's way harder than when I did it. These guys are so much better. They're so much better.
Next question. What do we got? Gabriel Lamb, what happens first? The Sabres make the playoffs or the Bills win the Super Bowl?
I think the Bills win the
Super Bowl. I'm going Bills.
Yeah. I think the Bills are good. Oh, they are good. Josh Allen, something else. And I think those players want to do something for that community because it's the last year in the building.
Yeah.
I've been in that building a few times.
Oh, yeah? I've never been in it.
Scotty and I, it's funny. We were coaching in Pittsburgh, and I don't know, there was a quirk in the schedule, and we drove up. It wasn't that far. And we went to a playoff game there, and it was freaking cold, man.
Oh, I bet.
and I felt bad because I could see it was starting to really affect him. He was getting cold too.
Yeah.
And then the next week they were playing at home, and he says, "Hey, want to go to the game?" I'm like, "No, I'll watch it." I just want to go.
Yeah, that does get pretty cold up by the lakes there. All right, let's go. What do we got? Las Papas 9628. Would you say that amateur scouts are important for creating the base of a team, but pro scouts are really the staff bringing you up and over the hump to win a Stanley Cup?
Yeah, but here's the thing about amateur scouts that's really important. And Montreal's done a good job with this, and they've got a lot of good scouts. Bob Roff's a good scout, LaPointe's a good scout. Like, you can go down and look at all their scouts. They've stolen players. Like, everybody equates the first round with the success, but if you look at what they've done, all these guys, like Jacob Fowler wasn't a first rounder, Lane Hutson wasn't a first rounder. You go look at it. Jake Evans was a 7th rounder. I know previous regime, but he was a 7th rounder. You build up organizational integrity and depth so you can use those as chips in the game. And that's where the amateur scouts really help the pro scouts, because the pro scouts can't do those deals with the GM unless they got the artillery. You don't just want to trade draft picks. You got to use those to rekindle your stock.
Yeah.
And so the amateur scouts play a really big role. You can't miss on too many. You know, it's like teamwork. Everybody's got to be working together. So, the
Right.
pro scouts are important. Come the trade deadline and free agency, and building your American League team is an important thing too, because you want your players playing a lot.
It just came into my head here quick, but kind of related, Pierre. At a draft, have you ever seen pro scouts and amateur scouts go at it when maybe there's a trade on the table and the amateurs don't want the pick to go? And I imagine that happens.
Usually that happens the night before. I mean,
yeah.
I don't want to say too much.
I read you. All right. Next question.
You can smile about it now. It's okay.
Ethan Russell, do you think the Bruins are relying too much on Higgins to be the next 1C for 15 to 20 years? Do you think they will still try to fix that roster hole through the draft? If they are, I'm with you. They are. They shouldn't be. I think that he has the potential to be Pierre, but right now I have him more pegged as an eventual 2C. Maybe if he's going to run, so to speak.
Yeah, if I were the Bruins, and I hope our friend Jeremy Roenick's watching this, if I were the Bruins, I'd be showing Jimmy a lot of the intensity of Jeremy Roenick when he played. I'll never forget, they were playing St. Louis in a playoff game, and Jeremy got his front teeth knocked out, and he never missed a shift.
Yeah.
You know, he's a tough kid. And again, you get to know I had Jeremy when he was 16 and 17 years old at camp.
Yeah.
And I'd be showing, because there's a lot of similarities with the power in their game and the speed.
Yeah.
And
did Roenick almost go to BC, Pierre?
He did. He went for like a week and a half.
Okay, I thought so.
He left to go to Gatton.
They got that in common too.
Yeah, and he wanted to go. But that's why I'm saying that you should be. There's a guy that kind of almost walked in your footsteps, but he was a first-round pick out of Thayer Academy before he went. Before he went to BC, but I'd be trying to use Jeremy as a comparable for him on the ice. I really would. I think if Higgins could ever be like that,
well, then we're talking.
Then you're talking a first-line center.
Yep. All right. Next question. Randy Workman, Jimmy and Pierre. I would put Cowan in the AHL this season. I do not think the fourth line in Toronto will help his progress. Your thoughts?
Depends on whether he gets power play time or not. That's number one. I like the thought about putting him down there. They're going to have a good team in Toronto. The Marlies are going to be good. I know a lot of the kids they sent down. They got some good firepower. They've got some good depth on defense. They've got goaltending depth. They'll be good down there. Their East Coast League team in Cincinnati will be good too. I just want to see whether he's going to play on a power play or not. If he doesn't, then I don't know if it's a good idea to keep him up on the fourth line.
All right, next question. Big Bill, Pierre, are there any surprises so far at Habs camp? Who's still with the club and who's been sent down?
I haven't seen any surprises that have shocked me. Jimmy correctly touched on Joshua Roy going down, and he's cleared waivers. I think that was a little bit of a shocker for maybe some people in the marketplace. I was not surprised by it. There's just too much internal competition. Kapanen's clearly fighting it out right now for a center ice. I think a center ice position. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Kirby Dach. They clearly, you see what they've done with their lines.
Yeah,
it's what we talked about last week.
Yeah, back to the wing and on the third line. All right, next question. Simo, Pierre, what are your thoughts on Bedard's preseason so far? He looks far more explosive speed-wise, and he has been around 60% on the draws. You think it's the Pekka influence?
So we've talked about this ever since Michael Pekka left New York and went to Chicago. I talked to Michael right after he got the job. He's a friend and somebody I really respect a lot. And we talked about all the great things he did first in Washington when he helped Peter Laviolette there. Then when he went to New York with Peter, helped him tremendously. And obviously now he's with Jeff Blashill in Chicago. He'll help all those centermen on faceoffs. But I think Bedard does look quicker. He looks a little bit more stout, which is good. And there are not a lot of guys who can shoot the puck like him. He can really shoot it. So I would say that's a very insightful take from CMOC.
All right, next question. Juice. Jimmy and Pierre, what's favorite?
That's Jimmy. That's Jimmy.
Once again being sent down to Providence. I think it's very similar to Joshua Roy. I think that it's probably run its course here. I don't know what they can get on the trade market, Pierre, but I would see him being moved I don't know, before the season or shortly into it. So it's too bad. I mean, I was hoping to keep.
So Jimmy, I agree with everything you said. That's why I said that's Jimmy's wheelhouse, not mine, because he knows the players there. I'm talking about off ice and on ice. Here's what I would say: if he's not a problem around the team in Providence, and I haven't heard any one way or the other, you would know that better than me.
I've heard good things about him as a person.
That's what I'm saying. So if that's not a problem, he's got the right attitude. You want to get off to a good start there, and you need to score.
Yeah,
and he's a guy that can set things up at that level. And it comes down to what are they doing with Dom's Les Mellis? What are they doing with Les Mellis? I got to believe they want him to play a lot of minutes down there. I have to think they do. So that's going to be an interesting thing to watch how that plays out there.
All right, next question. Renaissance Resistor. Who's more likely to be moved, Fowler or Waugh?
Well, it's not going to be easy, though, for either guy. Sean's a good player, but I've said this before. I just don't know how he fits in Montreal. Waugh, it's be interesting. I just don't know what his value is around the league right now. The good news is when you move these guys, they've already cleared waivers, so it's probably an American League for an American League deal. Or they're piggybacked into a bigger deal that a team says, we'll take them. And then, the team says, well, we got this guy. We stole him because we're going to put him on the wing or whatever. But, yeah, if I were to bet, I'd say probably Joshua Waugh before Farrell.
Okay, next question.
And I stress if there's a deal.
All right. Franco, when deciding on a final roster spot between two players, would you consider experience at the AHL level? Example, if one has been in the AHL for 3 seasons versus the other player's 1 year.
Oh, it can be that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with thinking that way, but I think part of it when you're evaluating the players, how's the player playing now? What's the injury situation? What's the contract situation? Is a kid coachable or not coachable? There's so many things. It's not just levels of experience. But more times than not, when you get to that, when you're comparing American League experience, a lot of times guys will come down. The last part of the call will be character. What's the player's character versus the other guy's character?
All right. I just want to note, too, because I was kind of taken aback there when we brought up Fabien Lascelles. As of now, he has not been sent down. He's not there yet. But, I mean, it looks like he's going to be. But he has not been officially cut yet.
I think people are reading the report where he wasn't with the A group, that Johnny Beecher was and he wasn't.
So it looks like it's coming, but
that's why I think people are probably thinking that.
Yeah. I just want to make so if we
that's fair. That's good. That's a great point. But Beecher, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Beecher practiced with the top guys, and Lysell did not. Yeah.
Yeah. Beecher had a hell of a game the other night.
He scored a good goal.
All right, next question. Randy Workman, can Coronado be a 40-goal man?
40 might be heavy. 40 might be heavy, but 30 plus. 40 might be a bit heavy for him, but I see 30 plus. And his shot, when he comes down the right side of the ice, that shot, he can beat a high short side and he can beat a long side too. That's how good a release he has. No, Coronado's a good player. Jimmy knows I've always liked him. And I'm a big fan of the person too. Trust me, when he was in the ECAC, and the ECAC was a really good league when he was in there his first 2 years. It was savage, some of the stuff he went through. Like, he was a targeted guy every night, and he handled it fantastically well. LaFerriere was one of his line mates, and Farrell was one of his line mates. All 3 guys are in the NHL.
Yeah, I thought they played together. All right, next question. Gabriel Lamb, will the CHL add more American teams like Muskegon as an example?
Well, no, but Muskegon didn't get in. It's interesting. There are a lot of people in the United States, and I can speak to this from experience and knowledge. There are a lot of people in the United States that would like to get into major junior hockey with American-based franchises. There's a lot involved. There's a IIHF involved. There's Hockey Canada involved, and there's USA Hockey involved. And USA Hockey really wants the USHL to thrive, and I understand that. Not having a team in Erie in the USHL hurts. It's obviously not having a team in Saginaw hurts. They couldn't afford to lose Youngstown and Muskegon. Those are marquee franchises in that division. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens. I'm talking to different people that have been picking my brain about major junior hockey. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens.
Speaking of Muskegon, Pierre, we should get their new assistant coach on here sometime. I think he'd be a good guest. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Mr. Pat.
Yeah. Patty Maroon. I was like, where's he going with this? Yeah, Patty Maroon's there. Yeah. Because his son's playing there.
Yeah.
Patty's son's playing.
Great. I totally forgot about that. And I was just Googling Muskegon here, and that came up. All right.
Yeah.
Next question. What do we got? Juice. With Alexander Barkov being out for the season, could Sam Reinhart become a full-time center?
He could. He was. When he was in junior, when he was second overall pick, Reinhart was a centerman. So the answer is yes. Yes. They've got a lot. Reinhart could play center. Samoskevich could play center. Bennett is a center. Lusterina could play center. Lundell is a center. Cunning's a center. And in a pinch, Rodriguez could play center if he's not traded. So they got plenty of guys who can play center.
All right. Perfect. Well, that's it for our questions. We appreciate them all. Thanks to our listeners and viewers. Thanks to Shane working the board up in Montreal. Pierre, by the way, I forgot to congratulate you on your Giants. Mr. Jackson Dart, nice win for them.
Yeah, but it's, the wide receiver gets hurt. Malik Neighbors, he's done for the year, which is painful.
Almost like a catch.
Jackson Dart's a good player. I'm excited for him.
Watch a little football tonight and a little hockey, and we will talk to you tomorrow here on the Eye Test on the Sick Podcast Network.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Eye Test with Pierre McGuire and Jimmy Murphy on YouTube, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.